Hello, investors. Today I would like to show you how I invest in the stock market, how to buy penny stocks. Now, this is how I go about it, doing it, and as a disclaimer, you definitely want to check and do your own financial analysis before making any decisions in the stock market. But these are what I've done, and this past year, and I've had quite a bit of success with a couple of stocks in the last year. So I'd like to show you them. So the first stock I'd like to show you is Agrinot Gold. Now, I purchased this on the July 28th, and I bought it for $2.23. I held it until August the 11th, and I sold it for $2.48 gain. Now, how I came up with this number and how I knew it was going to spike was I looked at previous years, and I looked at previous August and July, and I noticed there was a trend that every July it would spike. Every July into August it would spike. Now, what I would do is I would get the average of how far it would spike up, and I would divide that by 3. So let's say that it rode up to $3. I would divide $3 by 3, and that would be the average. So then I know I'd get out at that a certain amount. So what I've done here is I bought at $2.23, and I figured as long as I make 20 cents, I'm happy, and I'll get back out. So I bought it at $2.23. I rode it to $2.48. I got my 20 cents, and I sold. Now, on an investment of $10,000, I profited over $1,100. To me, this was a good profit. The stock did go higher than this, but I didn't want to take any more risk, so I sold and got out. And this is what I'm saying is you don't know what's going to happen to the stock, so it's better to get out. So let's take a look at Agrinot Gold and see how it's done since then. Now, the one what I like to use is stockcharts.com. And you can go in there and you don't have to pay for it unless you want a more extensive charting software. But you can just put in the ticker, which is AR.TO for Toronto, and click update. Okay, that brings up the chart of Agrinot Gold. And then what we do is if we go down, we will want to go full quote, price labels, solid candles. We want to change the size of the chart to 900. We also want to update Bollinger Bands. If you haven't heard of Bollinger Bands, you'd want to probably look them up on YouTube. They are helpful, as well as we want the Commodity Channel Index, the CCI. This will tell us what direction the stock is heading. And then we hit update. Okay, so now we got a bigger stock chart here. Okay, so with this, we can see that July 28th was right here that I bought in at, and it actually went down a little more, and then it went back up, and I sold at $2.48. Obviously, I sold too soon. It rode all the way up to $2.92, and even a little higher, up to it rode up to $2.92, and then it started to fall. And I actually looked at this stock after I was out, and I predicted when it was going to fall, and it was right after September 11th. I figured, or just into September, that it would start to fall, and it did. So this stock does go by history. So if you look by history, there is patterns. Now, it doesn't work every time, but your chances of buying here, and if something goes wrong, you can sell out. If it would have fell down here, I would have sold out. Yes, I would have took a hit, but it would have been less than buying up here and having this. So, buy low, sell high. So yes, next year I'll probably hold my position longer because of this. Maybe I won't ride it right to 292. I'll probably ride it down to 257 or whatever the stock price is at that time. So how I come up with that is you take 292 minus 209 at the low, and you divide that by 3. And that'll give you a number that, 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents of what you can profit with less risk. And the Bollinger Bands, you can tell that it went through the Bollinger Bands heading up. When it goes through, crosses over, and goes up through this Bollinger Band in the middle, the dotted line in the middle, that means it's in a bullish trend. When it comes breaking through at the bottom through the Bollinger Band, that's a good time to sell. So right now it's dropping. But it may be a good time to get back in the fall, because there is another period of strength for this stock in December. And this is the MACD, which will show you that when it's crossing over. So as you can see in July it was heading down. The black line was under the red, so that was indicating a negative. And then you see how the crossover happened here. The black line went above, that's indicating a positive, and it went up, and then we hit another negative, so it went back down again. Now it may be signaling that it's heading up, but we're not in the seasonal strength for this stock. The seasonal strength for the stock is for gold. The seasonal strength for gold is every the end of July until the first week in September, and then you want to be out. The gold is actually longer than that, but that's as long as I want to take it. So from the end of July to the first week of September, and it happens usually every year, not all the time, but usually. And then this is where the CCI comes in, and you can tell. You definitely want to buy a stock that's down here heading into its seasonal trend versus way up here. And in July, it was down low here. July 28th, it was right here. So you definitely want to you don't want to be buying up here. That's too risky. So another stock that I'd like to buy, or that I bought last year in 2016, was UPS. Now UPS does well at usually the end of October. So in this case, last year, 2016, I purchased the stock UPS on October 28th, and I bought it here, and it went up. Now, why did it go up? Well, it goes up every year, usually every year, on the end of October. If it didn't, and it would have went down here, I would have sold. But it kept, and it went back up. The reason it goes back up is everybody buys on Amazon, and they buy for Christmas holiday shopping. So, in effect, they need to get the parcels out, so they use UPS. Correct? So, that's why the stock goes up. And I usually ride this until the first week of December, but I sold out earlier than that. So this year we'll probably do the same thing. I'll be watching it. You can also tell the MACD crossed over and the black line was going higher. Now let's look up UPS. As you can see, for this year we're already in an uptrend. So this may be a very good opportunity come October if we see a dip to purchase the stock. We're in an uptrend. See how we are here. If we get one of these that comes down on the CCI, that would be a good time to purchase. Into the end of October yet. We're just going into September. How I find seasonality on these stocks is at the bottom of stock charts, there's a seasonality link. If you hit that, you can go down and you can bring this across to the first part of the stock when it first started, say 1999. You click that and you go back and you'd hit 2016. Okay? Now for UPS, the months that have been the best: 3.5% in September, 6.2% in October, and 3.7% in November. And it's been right 100% of the times. Now, don't go by this 100% because obviously it's just a chart and things do change. But you can tell that this stock, UPS, is strongest between September and November of every year. So I like to buy it at the end of October if there's a dip. But right now, it probably could be purchased at any time because it's in an upward trend. And it's going into its seasonal strength. But you definitely wouldn't want to buy this, say, right here, and then sell it in January, because that's a negative months. I would never buy this stock in here when the seasonal strengths are right here. So that concludes this video. Hopefully you'll subscribe to my YouTube channel and you'll see more of my updates. So I'd like to start posting more on my charts. So please stay tuned, and if you have any questions or any stock tips yourself, please leave them in the comments section below, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.